Ladies and gentlemen,
What are your qualifications?
boys and girls,
And he said, I'm afraid. I used to smoke, but I gave it up. Someone told me that it would take 10 years off your life.
now is the time where
And it keeps getting funnier every single time.
myself and Jim are going to speak.
And so the homeowner, he jumps up and he grabs one of the rocks and he
Not again.
There's a it's a walkout. Yeah, right. It's a walkout basement.
Every Friday night.
I hate this neighborhood so much.
Ta-da-da!
Well, Jim,
I like cracking myself up.
you laugh more and more at yourself.
But no, I was laughing at you, too.
That's true. You were laughing at.
Laughing right at your face.
You were. But how are you doing? It's been a week.
It's been a week. It's only been a week.
Only been a week. It's been less than a week.
Yeah.
I saw you last Wednesday. Today's Tuesday.
Today, well, you didn't come over for Turkey Day.
I didn't. I actually went home and had turkey with my dad and just my
Just you and your dad had
my
some
da-
turkey?
My dad and my
Brent
my
pulled out
step-siblings.
the old
Yeah, we had a talk.
turkey pot pie. And
Yeah, we talked about like why I'm not married. No, just kidding. We didn't talk about any of that. But no, it was solid. I went home and had some Thanksgiving with my siblings, and it was just
did
siblings.
you tell them I said hello?
I did actually.
What'd they say?
He said thank you.
That's it? No hello back?
They did say
Sheesh.
Oh.
I rescind my hello.
It's like, oh, Jim, hey, Dad, Jim said hello.
Nah, just kidding. I still say
thank you.
I don't need to be rescinded.
Oh, thank you, and that's it. And just ended
Oh,
no,
thank you.
No, but yeah,
Eat your turkey, boy.
This this weekend was a solid
Eat turkey.
weekend. I watched a lot of Oscar contenders this year. I
Like-
watched 2 Oscar contenders this year. I watched Marriage Story, which I'll get to.
We haven't even got to the Golden Globes yet. We're already like so sure we know.
Yeah, we'll
Snob.
find it once the
You
season's-
snob.
once award season actually comes through. I saw Marriage Story on Saturday.
Okay.
Or no, I saw Marriage Story on Friday.
Was it good?
I'll get to it.
Okay.
And then I saw Knives Out on Saturday.
That's the one I want to see.
So
Yeah,
I
I've
saw
been fighting with people online over Ryan Johnson.
You fighting?
Yeah, me. Just people are just so easy to judge, and I'm like, look at his body of work. Even if you didn't like Star Wars 8, look at the man's body of work. He makes really good movies, and they're all like what? What has he made? I'm all
Looper,
yeah.
Brick.
He let's just go back and let's watch. Look what he's made, and he's really
the
good.
best episodes of Breaking Bad.
Yep.
So,
He's really, and he wants and it all started because he wants to direct season 2 Mandalorian. He wants to do an episode, and a lot of the haters are, I call them trolls. They're all back. They're all hating on Empire Strikes Back Part 2.
Here's the thing with The Mandalorian. You can't do anything in that 30-minute time span to make
It's
anybody.
50, isn't it 40? It's like almost 50 minutes.
They're all 30 minutes.
Are they only 30?
30 to 40 minutes each.
Well, it seems like it's getting more and more. I still like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking smack on it, but it's feeling more and more like the cartoons. It feels like the Clone Wars. It feels like they have something to do with each other, but they really don't at the same time.
I see what you mean.
Same characters, same
world.
world.
John Favreau, I think it's more like a Western than anything.
Yeah. And I like it.
Yeah, so do I.
I don't think they knew it was going to blow up like this.
No, they didn't. Especially Baby Yoda.
Only 8. Yeah.
I feel like we're being watched.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know why.
We have someone in the room with us.
Do we
We're
have
sat here nerding out. He's just shaking his head going, no, that's not correct. That's not correct.
It is one of our biggest supporters, and we're really appreciative.
Always liking our stuff.
We always appreciate his support, and it is Michael. No, just kidding.
Welcome back, Michael.
No, it is Justus Page here in studio. You know what's funny when Michael's going to be listening to this?
Yeah.
He's like, wait, no, I wasn't there. I definitely no.
He isn't our best. No, by far. I see more comments, more likes, more like, and don't get me wrong, there's others that do as well. But I always see, I see you on there all the time. What's that all about, man?
I don't know, but if Michael's in contention here, I gotta step
throw
up.
him. Here's the thing: is that we've invited Michael twice the last 2 weeks, and he hasn't shown up.
He just doesn't show up.
I don't think he got our invitation.
He didn't get the invite.
He didn't get the invitation.
We've been calling the wrong. We've been calling 8675309. That's still your number, Mike?
Yeah, that's what we thought this entire time.
Sheesh. So I gotta ask, what's up with the horse riding boots? You come rolling in the wintertime in these boots that look like you could go saddleback riding.
That or your deep sea fishing, which
nice
one.
I don't think either work.
I like to keep my options open.
You said that last time. But you said that
you plan on slaughtering whales.
Well, there's a practicality to it in that my other pair of shoes is cloth and they have holes in them.
So why wear them?
That's why I'm not wearing them. I'm wearing the boots.
He's totally rocking them.
If my
boots,
other pair
too.
of shoes, I'd freeze. But also, they just look real damn good.
And if you need help burying a body, he's ready to go.
They wash off real good.
He's ready.
Here's the thing: is that you're ready for any situation, and people ask you, like, "Oh, why are you wearing those?" And then you're like,
"They're practical."
Have I told you about my film?
Right. Or you could have gone the other way. You could have been, "It's a condition, you jerk."
You don't know my
I have high arches, and this is the only way I can walk around, but thanks.
These are my grandpa's. He just barely died.
Right?
It's my only
Thanks,
memory
jerk.
of
It's
him.
all I have to remember him.
He was a big-time deep-sea fisher. And
You can still smell the fish.
Jacques Cousteau's right-hand man.
That'd be great.
You probably never heard of him.
he's kind of a big
So
deal.
we assume that you have something to do with the movie business, or you just like movies, or like to talk movies, or like to listen
I texted
movies.
him. I was like, "Hey, we're going to start a little bit late," and he's like, "Oh, I just got done with a shoot." So he was doing either he was shooting somebody,
A shoot. He was shooting somebody.
or
Yes.
so wait, let's dial it back. He was burying a body.
He was burying a body.
That is why he's wearing the boots.
Does this smell like chloroform?
No, okay. Why? What were you shooting, and why are they alive still?
This is probably less enthralling than it probably sounded. I was actually doing Santa pictures.
Santa.
Yeah. So in my day job, I do a lot of corporate photo and video.
For whom?
For a company called Veritas. They're a mortgage company.
I know Veritas.
Yeah. It sounds way less exciting than it is. It's a ton of fun. But today we had a Santa that came in.
Was it a fat Santa?
He was, and he was damn
I've been
good,
seeing
man.
this new politically correct skinny Santa.
That's bullshit.
I'm sorry. Yeah, there's some certain things that you can't. And I'm
can't
one.
take that away
I'm
from
one.
fat
I'm
people.
one. I'm one for pushing the bounds. But yeah, give me a fat Santa.
I don't care what race
I don't
he is,
care.
as long as he's
Whatever
a fat
color,
Santa.
I don't care.
I really don't
Give me a
care.
fat guy.
There are very few things that fat people can cling to, and
Right.
Santa is one of them.
Santa
I'm not
is one
sitting
of
on
them.
some skinny guy who looks like
That's
that's
true.
your age.
That is true.
That
Nobody wants a
sounds
GQ model.
Brady's all, ho, 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 what do you want, kid?
No, I mean he's probably bony. Skinny Santas.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not.
Yeah,
That's
it
not
doesn't sound
comfortable
comfy at all.
sitting space.
It seems
Just creepy.
No, it's kind of freaking.
Why
me out.
is it though that they film all the Christmas movies in the summer, and now now I'm hearing people gearing up to do the summer movies?
Well,
it's freezing.
Have you never heard of the little kind of tiny thing in filmmaking called post-production?
Yeah, make it the year. It's already 6 months. What's another 6 months?
Make it perfect.
Yeah.
Would have saved Game of Thrones a lot of
It's
water
taken me
bottles.
2 years to finish my last movie. So what?
That's, you know what? I really can't argue that. Some of these movies probably should have sat in editing a little longer. Every Hallmark
Marinated.
movie probably marinated a little.
So what would you call yourself? Are you saying like you're a filmmaker, you're an actor, you're a producer?
I'm a cinematographer.
You like to shoot.
I'm through and through a shooter.
Like who do you like? So let's nerd out for a
All
second.
right,
Then who do you follow? Like a lot of people go out there and they'll talk about who they like, best actors, best. I mean, you a Robert Elswit guy. You like who are you following? Like when you want to see a cinematographer, who's your guy?
I mean, Hoyte van Hoytema is amazing, and I'm usually
Examples
So like
for the common folk.
Dunkirk, Interstellar. What was the one he just did recently? I have a 1-year-old baby, so I haven't gotten to see a lot of movies.
Is it
this year.
yours?
Hopefully, time will tell. She's a little more temperamental than I am, so jury's kind of still
Right.
out on that. But I mean, a lot of my favorite cinematographers are unfortunately dead.
That's not unfortunate.
died.
That means you get to watch all their work.
Yeah, and they can't possibly screw it up because
They can't do more.
Right.
they can't do any worse.
Like for instance, who's your hero?
I really love Vadim Yusov, who was Tarkovsky's cinematographer on a lot of things. He was great. Greg Toland, obviously classic, very famous cinematographer of the golden era. And there's a lot of Russian cinematographers especially just had kind of this
Russia.
Yeah, they had
You
like
and Trump, huh?
big fans over here, huge potential.
No, that's really cool though. So we haven't had a lot of cinematographers, but that's nerd stuff for me because that's a lot of it that people don't even go into when you start talking. Like I started watching The Farewell, and a lot of it, of course, is in a foreign language. And I actually, before I turned the subtitles off, because I just wanted to watch them without being my own mind. I wanted to watch them act.
Sure.
Yeah.
I want to see if it was a good story or if they were good actors, because that's not always the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I was noticing. And then finally I was realizing, I'm like, okay, I'm about 35 minutes into this movie, and I have no idea what's going on.
See, to kind of keep with your cinematography, there's an award season talk because
nerd.
There are two people right now, and I wonder, one you'll know, and the other one I don't think you'll know, but I'll be surprised if you do. These two are the favorites to win Best Cinematography this year.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is Claire Mathon. Mathan, maybe, I don't know. She is the cinematographer for A Portrait of a Lady on Fire. That movie was shot in 8K. The entire movie.
Whew, huh. Okay.
That's expensive.
Yeah, very expensive, and the reason for it is because they wanted to keep all the color and everything that she shot with. So, and then the other one is Roger Deakins with 1917.
How many is
obscure.
Deakins won?
Who's
The only one?
Yeah,
I don't know if I've heard of Roger Deakins.
he was the cinematographer Blade Runner 2049. Being
just considered the greatest living cinematographer of all time.
Yeah, just go through his list there.
Yeah, you mean every great movie of basically the past 20, 30 years.
That's right. He finally won it too.
And here's a hot take. I don't think he should have won it for Blade Runner.
Who was supposed to win that year? Then he won it instead.
It was I'm trying to remember what
War for the Planet of the Apes. I think that was what he was going up against.
Andy Serkis.
Yeah,
Andy Serkis was.
He was the monkey and spent time on the camera. Because it's an easy job. Anyone can do it.
Let me check.
They hold around one of those little things in my face and go write off numbers and then put in a ruler in my face, and somehow I look pretty.
Yeah.
Is that how that goes?
It's exactly that simple. Actually, most of my job is just me pretending that it's that complicated.
Oh, okay. Cinematography of that year. Wait, no, I'm a year behind.
It was. I'm trying to remember what
2018.
It was 20. Yeah,
it was like
2018.
It was last year.
Yeah, it was last year. No, it wasn't. It was the year before.
Yeah, so it was Shape of Water.
Oh yeah, which was Dan Laustsen, I believe, who shot that one.
Those I'm trying to think of the pretty films with probably a Wes Anderson or a Paul Thomas Anderson film in there somewhere.
Yeah, Paul Thomas. I think it was Phantom Thread, right?
Phantom
but Paul
Thread.
Thomas Anderson shot that himself. He was his own cinematographer.
Yeah, he didn't normally. He uses Robert Elswit a lot. That's where I dropped that one from. But he's been kind of off doing his own thing, and they've kind of he's been shooting his own thing, and he's been using the guitar player from Radiohead doing a lot of his soundtracks.
Right. Yeah.
Not a bad gig to have. You're like just handpicking whoever you want. I'll shoot this one.
I mean, like
Daniel Day-Lewis. You gonna go away for a while from making movies? I'll shoot it.
I'll do it.
There's like Mark Mothersbaugh, who, I think of Devo, right? He's like He's scored like a ton of movies.
Well, I'm watching a lot of stuff like Watchmen right now. I'm big on the Watchmen that nobody else is talking about, and I think Watchmen is fantastic.
I've watched the first episode.
It's so good.
It's
one of those. Yeah, like people. I could see people going, I don't really get it. It's not my thing. But all of a sudden, you get in 6 episodes, and the storyline of it and the way it's so brilliant. It's so good. But anyways, Trent Reznor is he's doing the sound for it. He just won a country award for his work on Billy Ray Cyrus's stupid song that was everywhere.
He had me sold with the Gone Girl soundtrack.
But how cool is that he's taking the Danny Elfman route? And I'm like, that's genius. This sounds so much more fun. And then he can still go do his 9 Inch Nails and go do his Oingo Boingo and then come back.
Exactly. I remember I've got it was the cinematographer for 2018's Oscars. It was Blade Runner, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk. Mudbound, The Shape of Water. I think
Mudbound was Rachel Morrison.
Either of you see Mudbound?
Yeah, I love Mudbound.
Yeah,
I had you watch it. I had you watch Mudbound.
Yeah, that was long.
Mudbound was the first of Netflix's chance. Like, let's see if we can do this.
Yeah, and that's
Oscar
one of those.
thing.
I mean, I remember I pretty much said. I mean, we're getting to like a year ago now when this. Look at that, a year ago when we were talking. Wow. But I remember I was like, I liked the movie. I'd never watch it again.
Yeah, it's
hard to watch.
Movies are like that.
It's very hard.
That was a big moment because Rachel Morrison is the first female cinematographer.
There should be so many more.
Do
you know the last woman female director to win anything or even be nominated was Barbra Streisand for in like the 80s or late 70s is the last time I think there's been a winner for women. I think that was it.
Because I'm pretty sure Catherine Bigelow got nominated for Zero Dark 30.
But no winners. I think because I remember the only reason why I even knew that is because she said something about that. She goes, it's been 30 something 40 years since, and I'm like, whoa, that can't be right.
I
believe it.
I believe let me pull it up. Is the Marriage Story director? She's not. It's not a female.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's the one that it's still the one that I'm most hesitant, but I think I'm gonna like the most because I don't want no love stories.
It's Noah Baumbach.
Baumbach.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Baumbach. Yeah. Isn't that fun? I love all these nerd film names, and then you talk to people, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally," and then you start dropping. They're like, "Who?" Like, oh, did he do Vin Diesel's movie?
I think that movie I brought up, the Portrait of a Burned.
That sounds interesting.
It's French. It's a French film.
Oui, oui.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and I think that director is a female director, and I think she's got a shot to being nominated this year.
Well, like we still got to go through the Golden Globes, so who knows?
We'll see. And we're just spitballing because we're just hearing hearsay from people.
So.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's surprising. I mean, obviously, there's so many cinematographers. I'm never going to know them all, but there's a big part of that.
Before we go into movies that we want to talk about,
we like talking movies.
What's a movie this year that you want to talk about that isn't getting the love that it deserved in 2019?
Again, and it's sad. I have my daughter just turned 1 last weekend, and
say no more.
Yeah, when you have a kid,
you are a good parent if you don't take your kid.
Want me to ruin Tangle 2 for you?
Yeah.
Tangle 2?
Is that what
Frozen 2?
Yeah, they're all the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
Let it go. Yeah,
let it go.
I've seen
all see what you did there.
3 movies in theaters since my daughter's been born.
Which were?
You're a good man.
They were They Shall Not Grow Old, which, I mean, obviously that was the documentary that Peter Jackson made about World War I, where they retouched and called all that footage. And let's see, I went and saw John Wick 3.
Okay, another good one.
And It 2. I went and saw It 2. I took my wife.
I imagine you took your daughter to all 3 of those.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. I thought people in John Wick would love nothing more than
Did you sit next to me and us and go, look at all the bunny rabbits?
Yeah.
Was that you?
It might have been me.
I'll let you, we'll get back to you in a second, but here's the thing with bringing kids to movies. If they cannot speak yet, they do not belong in a theater.
Nope.
And that is, and you have to know which movie you're bringing them to, because if they're 3 years old, I went and saw Knives Out on Saturday, and
that's got to be on top of my list right now.
We were sitting next to a family with probably 3, like a 3-year-old, 5-year-old, and maybe a 7-year-old, and those kids got insanely bored and kept walking in front of my sister and I the entire movie, going outside, coming back in, and it was bugging the crap out of me.
That movie's not for them.
Well, I let my kid see it, and I remember feeling like such a dirtbag, and he was 15, like 14, 15. I was like, ooh, and then I got in there and I saw like kids half his age, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I got a pass.
We're good.
I'm not bad dad.
Yeah. Oh no, it's crazy.
But any other movies? I mean, Netflix has got a lot of stuff out right now that.
You know what? Let me.
What's in your queue? Like, what are you going to go home and watch next? Like, what's the next one?
The Irishman is out there.
You're going to find time for. You're going to go watch.
Irishman is out. The one that probably has seen.
De Niro steely eyes.
I think my wife and I were talking about watching the Peanut Butter Falcon.
That's a good one. Highly suggest it.
Yeah.
And you can rent it now.
You don't even have to spend more than 99 cents.
And we're old souls, and our daughter goes to bed at around 8 o'clock, and so normally that's when we'll settle down to watch something. And we almost started Once Upon a Time in Hollywood last night.
That's a good one,
but then
too.
we were like,
you could start it and then you can finish it tomorrow.
That's the thing with that.
I can't do my wife. Oh my wife kills me. She's the worst. She will like start something super bingeable.
Yep.
And she will just stop, and I can't watch it without her.
Oh yeah.
And so like we started watching Mindhunter, and right now we're like in the middle of season 2, and she's fine. Just like, we'll watch.
Okay,
I'm like, what? I need to know what happened.
You're like can't sleep. You're finishing the ending by yourself.
If I started
You're
Once Upon a
lying to
Time,
her.
I would have to watch it all in one sitting, and that's also why I haven't watched the 7-hour cut of War and Peace.
I thought you were going to say the movie that he watched on Netflix, the Tarantino.
Yeah, I watched. There's a 4-hour cut of Hateful Eight.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'd watch that.
I did. I watched all of it.
And here to go along with that, I think Netflix is kind of made us so used to watching 3.5-hour movies. The Irishman, for an example,
or because you're watching that in your TV, like your episode, you're watching a whole season, like 4 or 5 hours.
I'm sitting down and watching 4 episods of Breaking Bad just because I need to watch the next one because I have nothing.
But I
else
don't have
going
time for a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah, exactly right.
I know, and the problem is we're just getting. You become such an old soul. It feels like when you become a parent. It's like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
How old are you?
Like, oh, what? I'm 24.
24.
Oh, wow.
You're still
I'm older
pup.
than him.
I know.
I'm older than him.
Why don't you have any babies?
Shut up, Jim.
This is why you're not married.
But shoot,
this
man.
is why I'm not married.
I'm going to tell you, I think it's good. I think wait on the kids. If you can have them, good, go for them. But no, don't rush into them babies.
And I shot a documentary in Spain earlier this year.
Wow,
and it was interesting the cultural
in Barcelona.
difference. Oh my, Barcelona.
In Barcelona,
but it's not even that S is not a list.
Barcelona.
But it was crazy. Like when we talk to people around in Barcelona, just like culturally, they'd be like, yeah, I'm 39, and my husband and I are thinking within the next couple of years we'll have our first kid, and that was the common thing. Like,
yeah.
And most people were in their late 30s starting to think about having kids. And when we'd talk about it, I was like, yeah, my wife and I, we just got married at 23. We're having our first kid. They were like, what? They were like, they're like, I had so many stupid things left to do at 24 that I couldn't have done with a kid.
I'm in my 40s. I'm still doing stupid things.
That's my excuse. I wanted to start a podcast. Yeah. I want to start a second podcast.
And then a third.
All these crazy things that I had in my mind. It's like, ugh.
He's on Tinder.
Yeah, that's all that stuff. No, but Netflix has kind of made this.
But seriously, I want to know what's the one that you're like, I'm going to watch this one next. Not even like you might watch other ones that might pop up, wife might put some, but what's the one that's in your head? Like me, Knives Out. I want the next one that I'm going to.
Knives Out's high on the list Knives Out for sure. That one, look, I mean, I'm a big fan of Daniel Craig.
Love Daniel.
And when I saw Chris Evans in the trailer in a role that's not pretty different than how we've seen him in the past decade, I was really slow, and I loved The Last Jedi, and so for me, I was like, I don't have any issue with Rian Johnson.
I think we're all in agreement.
It makes me so mad that they can't understand that they're remaking the original trilogy with a little bit. So people are all pissed off, and I'm like, you don't even know what any of that stuff that you say make no sense and has nothing to do with the plot. You don't know if it does or not.
Here's the thing, Jim.
It's not done yet.
The last 15 years when I was a little kid, I had this stuff in my brain.
Oh, okay. How it all wrapped up.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And now everyone wants George Lucas to come save it, but then you talk about the original, the new original trilogy and what terrible crap that was.
Yeah, I'm watching episode 1 and 2.
Did you know if you want to do something really fun, don't listen to the people that talk about it now. Go back to the actual the reviews when it came out were glowing. The reviews when it came out, Jar Jar Binks is going to be the newest big thing. Like people are like, no, that's wrong. I'm like, you can Google it right now and you can look it up. Fact check me. I'm telling you, it was very highly regarded, and it was a huge success critically.
Money-wise.
And money and critically. And nobody was talking crap on it. And then all of a sudden it turned into this, and it's not awesome. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of awesome stuff in it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, the storyline of the prequels, just
I
like
will
that
always,
world.
I will always credit, like, the storyline of the prequels is by far the best.
And they forgot how to... a sword fight or lightsaber fight. Like you go from 1, 2, 3, and then you go to 4. What happened?
There weren't enough Jedi to fight against. They got lazy.
Yeah.
Then they got really, really good. Later
they
on.
picked it back up again.
It was like, and she never picked up a lightsaber in her life.
She's
and I'm a huge Star Wars geek, and I'm a huge.
I want to do
everything.
I want to do a weird, like, since you do documentaries, it'd be great if we did it documentary style and just show like all the mishaps of people that like put the lightsaber in their face and turn it on.
That's so fun. Okay, what we do in the shadows,
kids.
What we do in the shadows, we're like doing a documentary at the Jedi Academy. And there's
just randomly
this kid with
no arm. It's got the mechanical. I'm in for my mechanical arm.
Talking about how this year youngling fatalities were at a new low due to new lightsaber handling.
Jesse has no eye because of this. This is a very specific point.
The amount of chopped off limbs has been reduced by 30% thanks to some new safety balls.
You go into the nurse, you're speaking to the nurse, and she's like, "Well,
it's a deadly weapon. Why would you point it in your face? Why would you do that?"
Trigger discipline.
We talked to Yoda, but he just kind of wanders off and just like it's like Yoda, you can't be giving these kids.
Yoda,
I think we have a gold mine here.
Yeah, I'm in.
Untapped.
But yeah, so what were we talking about?
So for me, I think
he was talking about something. I don't know.
Movies that I would want to see a lot right now. Movies that I'm like super dying to not be watching.
What do you want to go see
right now? And it's been out a little bit. Jojo Rabbit for me was
the
movie that I absolutely was like,
you're killing me, Smalls.
I know. I struggle.
I can't even talk about it.
I was supposed to go watch it this week, but
I can't even talk about it.
That's a shame.
It's one of the best films that nobody's talking about, and it's like getting like courtesy like handed into like the final like, oh well, it's really good, but it's like no, it's great. It's a great film.
Yeah, no, and it's another podcast that I listen to. It's called the Cinematography Podcast. Pretty aptly, I know there are other ones in the world, and I'm a traitor.
Turn off his microphone.
But
he thinks his microphone's off.
I've just been talking
Brady
about
has the power.
They interviewed the DP on Jojo Rabbit, who's Mihai Malamare, and it was just super cool to hear about that. But
he could be making up these names.
He could be.
Right? No idea.
Cinematographers always have super
I'm gonna start
weird
saying football names because you won't know.
Exactly.
Troy Polamalu came in the other day.
Okay, well, I grew up Steelers fan. Although
okay.
that one won't fly.
Way to go, Jim.
But yeah, Jojo Rabbit. I mean, that one was one I'm still dying to go see that in theaters.
Me too.
But Knives Out would probably be number 2, and then 1917 comes out soon.
Yeah.
That's probably third.
There's a couple of them coming around, but I watched a few myself. So you've watched a few. I finally got The Irishman in.
Let's talk about that, and then we'll go to mine.
Irishman, I sat down. It took me 3 times. Like you told me, like I'm glad that I watched it because I couldn't leave.
Yeah.
It was real easy to hit pause, and I'm like, I'll be right back. And then like later I came back, and then I came back, and I liked it. It just wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't anything that I was like, oh, I have to watch this. And then
everyone's raving like it's like, oh, this is the most amazing movie. I was like,
I don't, and I haven't watched it. I can't really speak on it.
Here's my synopsis of The Irishman and what I think it's about and what I think Scorsese was trying to say. I think he and his comments with Marvel, I think play right into it. I think what he's trying to say is this is the last time that the old boys are playing by the old boy tricks, using film in a dying art, just kind of like. Because there's a part in the movie where I'm not going to give anything away, but there's a part in the movie where everything could come out and there is no repercussion for it all to come out, and yet the way that it is, it's the code, and so I just think he's kind of doing the same thing. Like it's a dying art that he's like finishing up.
Let the past die. Kill it if you.
That's what I think is what it's about.
Well,
dinosaurs will die.
I haven't seen it, but I've been reading a ton about just the dialogue around it,
and the face manipulation stuff bothered me.
Well, and that
didn't look right.
We're still not quite there for that technology, but for somebody like Scorsese, who's made incredible movies,
and he's got more coming up.
He's by and large a genre filmmaker, and his career is predicated around these genre films.
I don't like all his movies
when they came out. Were looked down upon sort of in a similar way. I mean, they had a ton of artistic merit, but people
I respect what he does. I respect the movie. I like the movie. I don't know. I'm going to rush right out. Like if Brady went, hey, dude, we're watching Irishman tonight. I'm like,
I don't have that kind of time. It's 3.5 hours.
But I didn't like Shutter Island. I thought that was garbage. And even Richard Dutcher came to me and he's like, dude, you got to watch it. This is one of my favorite movies. You got to watch it. So I'm going to try it again. I'm like, this movie's crap. Like I can't do it. He's just like Zoolander. I've never finished Zoolander. I can't watch it. I think it's a terrible movie.
I think if Scorsese had made Zoolander, maybe. But he's a legend, and he's made incredible movies. But I think by and large, for a guy like Scorsese to say that like superhero movies aren't cinema, it's like, well then, I mean, cinema.
He's never seen one.
What we're going to experience at the theaters, right? And what superhero movies are doing, for better or worse, is they're getting people into the theaters.
Yeah, and exactly.
That might make them more inclined to go see other things besides superhero movies because they've invested again in the theatrical experience.
No new kid that's going to go like, all I want to do is go see The Irishman, Dad. Right. Dad, take me to The Irishman.
I hear a lot about mob movies.
Dude, Bob De Niro just killed it in that one. That's what I hear. That's what I hear from my friends.
Yeah, right. He has his audience and his market that movie is for.
And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Great storyteller. Pesci.
Rodrigo Prieto,
Joe Pesci
cinematographer,
probably takes. I'm on the camp. I think Pesci steals it from Brad Pitt this year in best supporting actor,
just because he's been gone. But his nose is getting so cleft, like you can almost like put a pen in there, and you're just like you can walk around with it.
Yeah, but it was fine. Like I remember watching it. I was like, okay, I could see why critics love it, and
I'm glad I put it too.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't say it was going to win.
I'd like to watch it just because I'm sure it's probably worth the watch. But
beautiful,
yeah. I mean, well, and again, Rodrigo Prieto has shot a ton of Scorsese's movies. Wolf of Wall Street, Silence. Like he's done amazing work.
I haven't finished Silence here. That's another one that I still haven't finished.
Regardless of anything else about those movies, they're beautiful, right? And I'm sure the exact same is true with The Irishman.
So here's because you can't this doesn't ruin the movie for you at all either. But Brady, if nobody talked, if that's kind of the point of The Irishman, like without giving anything away, like it's the old way and it's the old Irish way and the old mobster way, and nobody. So where'd the book come from? When did he find time to make that happen?
The book, like the one he wrote.
It's based on a book.
Yeah, it's based on the book by the.
So when did that happen? If he's not talking, when did that happen? What part of? When did that?
Like the actual person that he's playing.
Yeah, the character
he wrote a book.
He wrote a book.
Like, so you paint houses.
You paint houses.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying.
He did an awful lot of talking.
That's what I noticed. That's what I noticed when it was over.
Well,
I'm like, okay.
Everyone was dead, and then he was like, and then after
he found time to
those detectives were like, hey, do you see that? Like that guy, that guy we said that he knew nothing.
Why didn't you tell us?
He just He just released a novel.
At the same time, I could be like that guy. And if someone came to me and said, "Hey, everyone's dead," everyone's dead. So you want to tell me what happened? And I could be all like, "It was me." All of it. I was the Gambino family. I was the.
And he's like, "This guy's crazy."
I did all of it. Jimmy Hoffa, I buried him in my backyard. It was me.
All of it. It's true. All of it.
Why not?
But yeah, it's gonna be a contender.
It's gonna be a contender, and there's just too much. There's too much in it not to.
De Niro plays. It's funny seeing him like
Pacino can eat a room, can he? He can chew scenery. You know what that means to chew scenery as an actor? That guy is so
very good.
Walk me through that. What do we mean by that?
Chew scenery is not necessarily overacting, but it's to the verge of you don't notice lamps anymore. You don't notice.
You're just watching him.
You don't even know what he's talking about anymore. He's like literally the scene is him just getting bigger and his
yelling.
Yelling. It's just to the point where
Pacino does.
Yeah, I don't even remember some of his monologues, but I could tell you like.
No, not you. Those guys.
No. You got to tell me. You got to tell me.
You got to tell me those things, or I'm just going to be upset.
You can't talk to me like that.
I think my favorite Al Pacino performance is Insomnia, the Christopher Nolan movie. And I think that's interesting
Robin
because
Williams, rest his soul.
Oh my! And again, another amazing role by Robin Williams.
Yeah,
it's so underappreciated. I mean, he plays like a totally different kind of character than he normally played.
You're talking to an Adam Sandler fan who people say he can't act, and I'm like, I know he can act. He chooses. If I said, hey, I can take you and all your friends to the Bahamas for this summer, you think you could figure out a script to shoot while you're there?
If I give you like $5 million, you and your buds
each.
Yeah, I could come up with something.
I think of the movies that I'm most excited for the rest of the year. I've seen a lot of movies, so my list is fairly small. I think Uncut Gems is probably on the top of that.
Yeah,
just because, man, we're huge Adam Sandler fans.
But I'm also a huge Safka.
After we watched,
after I had no idea who they even were.
Yeah,
and now I'm like, I saw Good Times, and I'm like, these dudes are badass.
Yeah, I mean, they took the chance of making.
Robert
Pattinson, cool,
and not only made it. Have you seen Good Time? By the way,
on Amazon Prime.
You can go watch it tonight. That's one of those where you're like, it's one of those movies where you're like, I don't like this guy, I don't like this plot, I don't like these people. Then turn it off. No.
Just let it go. Keep it going.
No. I want to see. I want to see what happens.
Right? It's like a House of Cards in that sense. The appeal is sort of how much you hate them. Yeah, interesting. Okay.
So, but yeah, Uncut Gems comes out next week.
Yeah, and it'll come out with a whimper. Nobody will know.
It's sitting at 95% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I'm going to see Richard Jewell next week as well.
Richard Jewell?
Yeah, it's the one that stars. Well, it's Clint Eastwood's movie.
He's still alive.
Yeah, starring Paul Walter Hauser. He's supposed to be a dark horse for Best Actor as well. But let's talk about the movie I had you watch this week.
Yeah, I haven't
finished it.
I haven't finished it. Okay. Because I had every intention of finishing it.
Well, let's come back to it then.
Yeah, and so I don't want to talk about it yet, but I did watch it, then start over. So technically, I guess I have seen 2 hours of it.
Cumulatively, you technically watched the runtime.
If you're asking me if I've seen 2 hours of the movie, I have.
Okay, fair enough.
But I don't know how it speaks out in subtitles at the end.
What did you watch this week then?
And also, the girl doesn't look anything like the girl
Awkwafina?
from.
Oh, I know.
Awkwafina doesn't look like the same girl from Crazy Overrated Asians.
I know. Oh yeah, I know.
Doesn't look anything like this. I kept going, is this like the best friend? Like, did I miss something?
No, she's completely different.
Doesn't look. She's totally geeked down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And then I went and pulled up pictures of her because I didn't believe it was the same girl. And then I saw her all dolled up. And then I saw the cast all dolled up. I'm like, wow, this is some pretty girls. They geeked them down.
Yeah, they did.
Wow.
Is that all you watched this weekend?
No, well, that, and then I watched Irishman, and then I've been watching a lot of The Mandalorian. I've been watching a lot of The Watchmen, which I can't like. I love it. Like I love The Watchmen. It's the new one that I can't believe people aren't watching. There's only one character I don't like in it, and they found a way to make me tolerate it.
Yeah.
Even with that character, and then now with this last episode, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give her another shot. All right. Yeah. But yeah, I'm waiting for. I've watched a lot of them, and now I'm waiting. A lot of them are coming out on the digital, so I can check out the extras. Like you're gonna get your the Lighthouse. You're gonna get your Jojo Rabbits. All those are gonna start coming out digitally, so you can start checking out the behind the scenes footage, which I'm curious about, and waiting for the last couple of these movies to kind of filter out. And then I still got on my list the ones that have the best actress, like Judy and. That I'm at that point where I'm like, oh man,
so much, right?
So much, and I don't have 3 hours to invest in a movie that when I could go watch John Wick 3 again.
That's such a good idea.
When you know it won't disappoint.
I know it's gonna be good.
So let's talk about this movie. I was really excited last week because I found out it was playing at the theater right next to my apartment. I went. So Marriage Story was my favorite to win Best Picture this year. I hadn't seen it yet, but that was the one I picked. Was like, okay, I think that's gonna.
And that one
win.
stars your boy.
Stars Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. It's basically
he is a man crush on Adam Driver.
Who doesn't?
I love Adam Driver.
He's
pretty cool.
Asking him out on dates and stuff.
I saw Black Klansman recently, and I was like,
that's
so good.
Great.
Every time I
good.
watch him in something, I love him just a little more.
Yeah, and so
it kills me. Spike Lee's a jerk, and it kills me to like his movies. But it's my favorite one he's done since Inside Man for sure.
The Marriage Story. Adam Driver's performance is probably one of the best performances I've seen in years. There's a scene in this movie that is going to win him the Oscar just on that merit alone. He could be the worst actor of all time in the rest of the movie, but there's a scene
the worst actor that went to Juilliard and
there's a scene
is a military vet
in this movie that is your jaw will be on the floor. You're like, the wide range of emotions. That
When's it come out on Netflix?
Tomorrow when this episode drops, Friday for us.
All right.
So, but yeah, there's a scene that you're just like, holy cow. That is a performance of any caliber of an actor that I've seen in such a long time. It was so,
and we don't really get to. I mean, at least in what I've seen, you don't really get to see Adam Driver be like a true lead.
Yeah,
he's normally just a great supporter of in.
Isn't that the one that was written by Ma'afala?
Let me see. Written by Noah Baumbach.
Now, you know who Mo Fala is?
I don't.
He was a University of Utah football running back who... I told you I was going to drop a football player.
It worked.
I was going to do it.
I had no idea who you were talking about.
He played for Pittsburgh for a while. I want to see how much you did know about.
Come on, man. No.
Come on.
Scarlett's the best she's ever been. She'll get a...
I don't know, but she was really good in JoJo, too.
That's what I kept hearing, too.
Yeah.
I need to see that, too.
But she's had the best scene in JoJo.
She's had a year.
And now she's got now everything is her new one with Black Widow that just dropped. Now it's everywhere.
She is like I said, everywhere. But she's going to get an Oscar nomination for Best Actress for this role as well. But yeah, Is
this a very Noah Baumbach-y kind of Noah Baumbach movie?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, but also it's not like a story that's going to just beat you down. I love the idea. Because it's just an idea of parents splitting, and which is
pretty common.
Films, yeah. And but they also don't want to ruin their kid's life.
Yep, like Squid and the Whale.
Yeah, and they're like, and the whole idea is that they're going to do this on their own, and then she gets convinced to hiring lawyers, and then it's a cool story of how the lawyers and everything behind the scenes is really what drives families apart. Right. Like what they're telling them. So that you see what behind the scenes. So the lawyers are sitting down with Scarlett, and she's like telling them, it's like what happened, why they split up, and then the lawyer's just kind of spinning the story. He's like, you have to tell it this way, or the judge is going to take your kid from you. And like
you start to believe it.
Yeah, and then you start to believe it. No, that person's an awful person for what they did to me. And then the other person retaliates by getting another lawyer. It's
a cycle of collusion. You just keep spinning the wheels and perpetuating the cycle.
It's such a powerful story. And like I was sitting there, and I usually grade my movies by like if it can like make me hit all the emotions. And by the end of the movie, I wasn't really sad. I was like, it's very like sad, but it wasn't moving me to tears.
Right. It's normally very melancholy.
Until the very
just like his name,
Noah Baumbach. And it wasn't until the later half of the movie where it really hit me, because it really hits close to home for me, and of what these parents go through and what they do for their kid. It's just an incredible story to watch. So I really suggest people to go watch that on Friday when it comes out, or whenever you can.
Right.
It's Adam's going to win Best Actor for it.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right.
It's
Hedging our bets here.
It's
La La Land all over again. Oh wait, no, Moonlight. I mean Moonlight.
and then I also went and saw Knives Out.
Knives Out.
Now you two are very high on it.
I hear it's very well written. I hear it's probably the best script. It's going to win. It's going to be
so
the
fun.
Yeah,
I've
it's
heard
going to be
nothing
the
but
script.
glowing reviews.
It's so
Script,
fun.
script.
It is a popcorn movie as it gets. That isn't as what normal popcorn movies are. Like it is an Oscar contender for sure, but it's also one that's going to be popular amongst most people. And
you think it'll be popular?
I think.
It
made $30,000, $30 million.
It made $30,000, man.
It made $30 million.
They paid for catering for that afternoon.
Made $30 million opening weekend.
Nice.
So it's
that is good. No, that
was going up against.
Well, as
Frozen.
much as I've been, supporting the Star Wars 8, not being a bomb and that you're wrong. Like I would love to see his next movie come out and just crush. That would put a huge smile on my face. I would love it. But it's so that's what else you want to leave me, because I'm already going to see that one. And if anyone doesn't know, the Daniel Craig, Ryan Johnson,
Chris Evans is it's so nice to see him in this role,
right?
Because we've just been seeing him as Captain America, basically.
And he's done a few others, but he's a nice guy.
He's such a jerk. Yeah.
Well, and I think this is the kind
Even
of
Snowpiercer,
movie.
he was Captain America.
Yeah, right. Basically,
the cast is so good though. You got Daniel Craig, who's awesome. He's got this thick Kentucky accent. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Anna de Armas. She is the new person in the bunch. She's only been in Blade Runner 2049.
Oh yeah.
She was in Yesterday earlier.
They
this
wrapped
year.
Dune, by the way. They wrapped Dune.
Dune comes out next year.
The first of it's at least going to be 2 films, but the first one done. Yay!
But she's really good in Knives Out. I think she's the technical lead, so she's solid in it. But
okay.
I enjoyed it.
So go see it.
Yes,
definitely. And I think that's great that it's making money.
And it's interesting that it's a cool win, and I really hope it does well, because that sort of movie sort of felt like it had been a dying genre.
Yeah, the whodunit.
Well, not only the whodunit, but sort
Mystery.
of these like large ensemble cast, like story-driven movies. Like, I mean, it's just not been like we get a lot of ensemble movies nowadays, but they're usually like epics, right? They're like,
and they're not,
epics,
and that or they're nobodies. Like,
yeah, right.
Like it's like, for an example,
Power Rangers.
Like I look at he doesn't like it, but I look at Crazy Rich Asians, it's a very much of an ensemble movie.
Right,
like everyone from top to bottom is awesome in it,
but it's a nobody movie.
Yeah, it's a nobody. Like
you can't say this is their movie.
Yeah, it's everybody. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Lord of the Rings is very much you said epic, but most of the people in that it's funny to
they weren't really many of them were nobodies at the time,
and nobody got it has the highest amount of Oscars nominated and won, but never were they nominated for Best Actor.
Yeah, none of the individual,
because there were no women in it in the first place. But the Best Actor,
there's Liv Tyler. Orlando Bloom was in it. She's
true.
gorgeous.
She is very gorgeous.
She's very pretty. So I'm looking at movies that are coming out soon, because I've been kind of like, which ones am I going to go see? There's the new Jumanji, which I actually do not like the first Jumanji with Robin Williams. I don't like it.
It's a childhood favorite of mine.
Well, all they needed to do is everyone just get in a room in a circle and roll the dice before the bats got to them, and
they
game
were kids
over.
And they're afraid.
Well, stupid kids. Uncut Gems, we've already talked about that one, but I actually want to go to. There's a movie that is
Just Mercy
dropping out. It's dropping on December 20th. It's a very highly anticipated film that everyone is supposedly talking about, and it's very high with the the technical and the driven. There's a big backstory behind it, and of course I'm talking about Cats.
Oh, Cats.
What the crap is Cats? And I know what Cats is. Yeah. Have you seen any of the
trailers?
Have you seen any of it?
Oh, my Lord.
Are you kidding me?
It is a
God.
You know what's funny is that it is the biggest question mark when it comes to the Oscar season.
What the crap is Cats? Like, they look weird.
Everybody
creepy.
Cats.
Everybody I talk to, or I talk to, everybody I listen to, and just kind of get all this information for that. When that comes of like the biggest question mark, the loophole
is what is Cats gonna do?
If Cats is amazing, then it could throw up everything in the air. But it could. There's also a good chance it could fall flat on its face.
I think we're all just sort of still kind of
so it could be Doolittle. It could be Doolittle with Iron Man. Who's That's the one you're going to do after Iron Man. You put Iron Man away to do Doolittle.
It's like, wow,
okay,
he can do whatever he wants now.
He's made enough money, so he's going to make all the independent movies he wants.
But
they go for that Oscar.
But then you got the remake of Grudge. Didn't they just make Grudge?
Yeah,
how can they?
2000. It was like early 2000s.
They're remaking Grudge, and I'm just looking at these movies coming out, and I'm just like,
I mean, and they remade The Jungle Book like
cats.
2 years after the last.
I see
Book.
Cats, and I'm like, and I see
really
them.
Really ashamed. I mentioned a bunch of names there that you didn't even bring up.
There's a bunch of that stuff still that's coming out though. That's why I'm saying that the Oscar season could all of a sudden hit, and we could be completely wrong.
This every winter it comes like.
Well, I think this one's heavier.
Spur of. I mean,
me and Brady have been doing this for a couple of years behind the scenes. We've been talking about. We go see the movies and stuff, and in the last couple of years, we could pretty much nail it. And like even last year was pretty, and like up until the 6 month mark, we were going, there's no movies, dude.
Yeah, we're just like
this is a bad year for movies, and now all of a sudden here we are 4 months later,
deep.
and it's like
so deep.
Stacked.
I'm not even, and I was full on in the Endgame camp. I thought Endgame was going to get nominated, but I just think it's kind of
no chance.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
I rewatched Endgame.
Yeah,
that's something I done this week.
Okay.
What an 85-minute finale, pat myself on the back movie that was.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I never caught that until like the whole last hour and 15 minutes is nothing about. We did this.
Yeah, we did.
We set this up.
23
Here
movies.
It is.
23 movies.
Here it all is.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Oh, yes.
For the next hour and a half. I am wonderful. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mark.
What if Star Wars becomes like the greatest Star Wars movie of all time?
Or it's just
my
crap.
goodness. I am kind of. If I were to hedge a bet, I feel like this movie's gonna be really good.
Like, and the reason why I bring it up is like because if there were a movie that they're going to reward for like, give the Return of the King treatment, where it's like, oh, it's the last one, like give it like, all right, I think Star Wars has a better shot than Endgame does to get nominated for Best Picture.
I mean, we love superhero movies, but Star Wars is our culture.
Yeah, I don't think Return of the King was the best of the 3 Lord of the Ring movies, but it was the kind of this. They did the same thing on that one too.
It's just the sort of emotional impact of being the end is really just.
So the fact that they figured it, they did it. But yeah, Just Mercies. I love it like this time of year because they just slowly like slide in these Oscar contenders, like in limited theaters, December 31st,
and then in wide release, January 10th.
They do. It's so annoying.
Go find that one stinky theater that still smells like farts,
so they can get in the Oscar contention. Because Just Mercy is doing that. 1917 is doing that.
Yep.
Little Women is doing that. Like just
Little Women.
Because
wasn't that already a movie too, though?
It was Little Woman or Pretty Woman. I always think Pretty Woman.
Wait,
wasn't it
Pretty
Little
Girl?
Woman? I think
there was a Little Lady Bird. No, Little Women. I swear there was already a movie.
There's a TV show.
Was that what it was? Little Women.
I don't know.
Oh man,
I don't know.
Either way, I've been seeing the trailers for that lately too. And
they got the trailers for the third one of the dang it the. Why can't I even think about it? They're like the Irish, not the Irish, but the Kingsman, the Kingsman prequel.
Oh my goodness,
I'm excited for that one too.
The Kingsman.
Well, no, I'm a huge history guy.
Yeah.
And so the second I saw like the backstory and it was set in World War I, that's all it took. I was like, all right, I'm in. I'm in all the way. I'm in 100%.
I'm in.
Bombshell is another one that's a dark horse for all this. I don't think it'll be actress nominations.
Mm-hmm.
But that's up there. Just Mercy. I think that Michael B. Jordan could have a chance for Best Actor for it too.
I like that Michael B. Jordan.
But yeah, I think
I didn't like Black Panther, but I did like
him.
I like him.
He was good in it.
He's great.
Anything else coming to your mind there, Jimothy?
That's all I can think. I mean, then I missed. Then, like you said, you just said one today, and I'm like, what the crap are you talking about?
Richard Jewell.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about that one.
Richard Jewell comes out next week.
Well, I was just watching because I'm a clickbaiter. I was looking at movies that we're excited to see in 2020, and I was
2029.
There was all sorts of films on there. I was like, what the crap? I didn't
even know these were happening.
And the only one that I'm really looking forward to is Bill and Ted's
in 2020.
In 2020, Bill and Ted's Face the Music.
The trailer for No Time to Die drops. The new James Bond movie.
James Bond.
Oh yeah, and
I love the Bonds.
Yeah, I grew
Craig's,
up on those.
Daniel
Too
Craig's
early,
great.
probably. I think at 5, my parents got me the VHS box set of all the James Bond movies, and 5-year-old me didn't know. They just were cool. But there's always been a huge part, and I love the Daniel Craig Bond. So I'm
he's the best Bond,
so
and I don't care what anyone says, and I know he doesn't even want to do it. He's still the best Bond.
Yeah, and that's what makes it even crazy.
Yep.
He doesn't even want to be there, and he's still killing it.
And they're bringing back Christoph Waltz. He's coming back reprising his role.
I'm excited to see Rami Malek as a villain.
Well, and I like how he put his foot down, said he wasn't going to be a terrorist.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like people putting their feet down as long as they got weight behind it.
It forces you to
well, that best actor.
It kind of
it couldn't have hurt at least.
How about
I'm just gonna slide.
How about
this.
we make him Christian?
Let's make him gay too.
Why not?
Just because I can.
Again.
What a guy, man! Yeah, I'm super excited.
I'm waiting for them. It's a good time for movies. It's a good time to talk movies. That's why we've just been sitting here geeking out for an hour talking about movies, and that's why they're like, oh yeah. Well, the podcast is the movie hour, so it's okay.
Yeah,
we get to do that.
That's what you do here.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
And now everyone's going to be like, so what do you want to see? I don't know. They want to see everything.
Literally, this is the time of year. It's like, there's so much coming up.
It's like Christmas for them.
It's like
literally, people say, what can I get you? What do you want for it? I'm like, movies.
Yeah, I was like, give me
movies.
vouchers to
go see movies. Give me like a deep cut something with awesome, like a on Blu-ray with awesome features behind it that I can. Give me something.
That's killing me. I got it. I've promised.
The Criterion
if you
classics.
want to give like a loved one an awesome gift and they live around one of these theaters,
me an awesome gift.
Yes, if you want to give us an awesome gift, let us know.
Send that to P.O. Box 37.
We're not that popular yet.
New York.
But yeah, I'm thinking about
Patreon. Patreon.
Yeah, we should set up an
so your mom could give us some money. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
She started a campaign to see if we could get on some lists for best new podcast.
And I.
Thanks,
you
Mom.
don't think we have a chance?
What's up, man?
No, I believe in you.
Name a better,
but nobody ever believes in you more than your mom.
Name a better first year podcast here in just Salt Lake that's done what we've done this year.
Are there any other podcasts that have even?
There's a bunch that have jumped up.
Take that, Michael.
Yeah, take it, Michael.
So this is. I didn't even get into podcasts until this year, and I think podcasts started becoming a thing like 2006, right? I'm way behind the curve.
Yeah.
But I sort of
podcasts have become the new blog.
Yeah.
Everyone's got one.
Well, I looked down on them for a while foolishly in my naivety.
You can learn so much stuff.
And again, the cinematography podcast one I listen to is like 55 episodes, started back in 2014.
Serial really hooked me too. Like I was kind of listening to a few. Like I listened to Oh Yeah Dude. Oh Yeah Dude's My Heroes, and they're actually in the Smithsonian. If anyone knows who Oh Yeah Dude, they're one of the first podcasts, and it's John Larroquette's son. And his buddy, they started this. It's just two dudes that just talk about, Americans, and I love them. But their one of their first podcasts is in the original iPod that's in the Smithsonian. So technically, they're in the Smithsonian as well, which I think is rad. They're the only podcast in the Smithsonian by proxy.
That's pretty nice.
And I would take it.
and I love podcasts now. And it was for a while. It was just sort of like. I don't know the stigma. I guess
I can't listen to the radio.
So geek. I can't listen to the radio.
I listened to the radio on the way here, and I was bored.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I'm sorry.
Well, I listen to your show on the way home. But I mean, but usually after you're off the air at 6?
Yeah.
And so that's when we show up
find
here.
Something out.
Yeah, I got if I'm not listening to your show, I'm listening to Pandora at home, and then on my way to here, I'm not listening to the national guys tell me how bad Utah sucks if they even bring it up at all. And so I'll put on more music or I'll listen to a podcast that I can just kind of like check into.
Oh yeah, and I've become like a junkie. As I said, like I was not into podcasts, and now I'm like. If I'm waiting on an episode from another podcast series I listen to,
I watched Book of Eli.
Is there anything? Is this like a Star Wars podcast?
I watched Book of Eli last night just because how much I love.
Not
Denzel Washington, but Gary Oldman, and I was just like, oh yeah, Gary Oldman's a bad guy. I really like that guy, and I was like, I gotta go to bed. This will be a good movie to fall asleep to. Credits are rolling, and I'm still watching.
It's crazy that the year is almost over, but we also. We should probably look into like awards.
Yeah, it's time to start talking about actors and actresses.
Well, like for us.
For us?
For the podcast.
Oh yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'd give you best nephew.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man.
it.
I'd give you top award, best nephew. What
well,
would we do without you, Brad?
You see me more than anybody else in the family.
It's might as well. We got a common bond, man.
So no, but like I know that the state of Utah does like best like podcast awards.
You have to look. You know, I'm not going to look at. I don't even.
If you know anything about that, guys, let us know.
Let Brady know,
because I want to win. That's the whole point.
I would
of
love.
this
It would be awesome just to be nominated for some of that stuff, so I could not show up to any of the award shows.
Oh yeah.
I've been to enough award shows of movies that I've been in, or Nate, or been to like go into those things and just sit there and
it's prestigious.
Like I went to one movie that Nate was in that he was the star of with Kelsey Grammer, and there's there's all these people that are in it, and Jason Segel and Jorge Garcia from Lost, like all these people. Everybody is nominated for something at this film festival, the Calabasas Film Festival. They're giving away lifetime awards, and they're Sean Astin's emceeing, and I got to make fun of him. That was awesome, but that's for another time. But the only person in the entire table that wasn't nominated for anything was the star of the movie, Nate.
All right,
called The Good Humor Man, and I was like, well, that sucks, dude.
All right.
He's trying to be happy for everyone else at the table. Just so happy for you.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. There's like a prestige for not showing up something you're nominated for. And even more prestige when you successfully pull off. I'm so proud for you guys.
There's a local award show.
Thank you.
There's a local annual award show that if I was nominated for something, I know for a fact I wouldn't show up for.
Oh,
it.
yeah, no, me neither.
Yeah, I would no show it.
Yeah,
which is why they'll never nominate me.
If you're listening, I'm completely joking.
Yeah,
please
absolutely. I
he
will
would
totally
show up.
I promise.
In suit.
Yep,
Suits.
in my boots. In
my camping boots.
They go with me everywhere.
We got to get out of here.
We've been going. So, what's your movie for me to watch this week? Because I got for you The Town. Because this is like the first year that there's been no Ben Affleck, and he's one of those guys that people like to make fun of, and then I start talking about his body of work and the movies that he's done. The Town by Ben Affleck, directed by and starring, is a fantastic film, action film, thriller. It's got all of it in there, and it was nominated for Best Picture 4 or 5 years ago, and now it's one of those like, oh, what is that? And it's like it's a fantastic film.
What
is that? Oh. I don't even know. And then they go watch it, and then they're like, hey, that was great. How come more people don't watch that movie? I don't know, man. I don't know. So I want you to go. Have you seen The Town?
I have not.
See, I think you'll really like The Town. Him and Jeremy Renner.
I like Jeremy Renner.
Just before he got into this universe of
Wind River.
Well, it was before that too. But no, he's now what's he in the
Hawkeye.
Bourne? Jason Bourne?
The bullseye guy.
I have no idea
the
what he's talking
bullseye
about.
guy with
Hawkeye.
the Hawkeye.
I have
That's
no
it.
idea what he's talking about.
Yeah,
I've only
Hawkeye.
seen him in Jason Bourne, The Wind River,
No,
the Mission Impossible
dude, he
movies.
sacrificed himself.
Mission Impossible.
He sacrificed himself so Scarlet Witch could live.
I'm confused what he's talking about.
That was Endgame, wasn't it?
Oh, are you talking
And
about
then Batgirl grabs him and goes,
Sorry,
"No, I got you."
Martin Scorsese told me that it's
old
not,
Marty.
it is not cinema, so I don't consider
not.
And Francis
It's
Ford
not.
Coppola went as far as say they're disgraceful.
it.
Yeah,
So
well,
yeah, you just take your
well, just like he
your
said in his
Endgame
movie,
love
we're
and-
taking our old man trophy and going home.
Exactly.
So go home, old man. You made a pretty good movie.
The
So,
movie
Town.
I'm stuck because one I want to revisit because I haven't seen it since it came out is Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
I don't know if that holds up.
But I think we'll save it for another time. The movie that really got me started on this whole like, oh, movies can be something
We'll have
else.
to talk about that one when Dune gets closer too, because
Yeah.
we'll start seeing
Denis
stuff.
Villeneuve, because I like Denis. But a movie that really kind of set me on this journey back when I was like, oh, movies can be something a little bit different than this is. I lost it in the last second.
Oh no.
Brain fart.
Social Network.
Social Network.
There it is.
Yeah, that was when I finally started looking at Eisenberg as
Jesse.
because he's been.
That was the first thing
annoying.
I've ever seen him in.
Yeah, he was really
And
good.
I was like,
Timberlake.
holy cow, he was-
That's when I saw
Jeff
Justin
Cronin.
Timberlake, and I'm like, he's prettier than me. He's a better singer than me. He's a better dancer than me. He's a better actor than me.
What can't he do?
I hate that guy.
And what's his name was in that too? Andrew Garfield.
Yeah,
I forgot
Andrew.
about
I thought the Amazing Spider-Man 1 was great. 2, it had issues, but there was
I hate
no
when
reason
you're
for it
wrong.
to pull it.
I hate when you're wrong.
He was a better. So you got the Tobey Maguire was the best Peter Parker, and Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man. And then the new kid is the best combination of the two.
That's fair.
I can't give Andrew Garfield the best any Spider-Man.
Well, that's because you're wrong. You're only 24 and you've only got one baby.
Well, Justice, it was nice having you on the show.
Yeah, a good time.
You never come back.
You jerk. Get out of my studio.
You're never coming back now because you disagreed with Jim.
You tell Andrew you love him.
If you've noticed, there's a trend when people disagree with Jim, they just don't come back.
Man, I want you to look at Coach Satake, and I want you to say you love Andrew Garfield.
All right.
That's never going to happen.
All right. We don't have anybody to push the out cue, so I'm going to put it magically right
now. We don't need anybody to push the out cue. We got you, baby. The best nephew in the world.
Take that, Steve.
Take it, Steve.
There's your plug.
Hi, Mom.